with doing all these kit comparisons, the Swamp Runner just seems to run better. It just seems to be put it on your boat, no adjustment, and it runs. With the Mud Skipper, there's no adjustments, and it's hard to control. So you couldn't do anything about that. Whatever you got, and there's no adjusting it. With the Beaver Dam Mud Runner kit, you could adjust a lot of things, or mainly the tail weight, and you could get it to run. But on this boat, I had to switch the transom mount around backwards, and it didn't run properly doing that. If you had a regular flat transom where it was just up and down and you could run it the way it was supposed to, then it will probably run, I would hope it would run good for you. But if you have an Alumacraft and you notice that your transom is leaning a little bit back a little bit, then it most likely is going to be hard to handle and you're not going to like it with the Mud Skipper or the Beaver Dam Mud Runners kit. The Swamp Runner, I was able to keep that gimbal on the outside the way that the bracket is supposed to run. I didn't have to switch it around like the other two kits, and without switching it, I needed no adjustment and it ran perfect. So maybe it's just this boat. If I had so to say a tracker has almost a straight up and down transom. They do lean it back a little bit, but not as far back as the Alumacrafts, or at least my Alumacraft. So it would be nice if I had a tracker boat or something that had a straight up and down transom, but as of right now, I do not. And if I had to pick a kit, it would be the Swamp Runner kit, because it didn't take any adjustment. I was able to put it on there without any hassle, and it ran. The others did run, but once you got to a certain miles per hour or a certain RPM range, then the prop would just shoot out of the water, and you really had to horse up on that handle to get that prop in the water and to run it. And it just isn't enjoyable. With the Swamp Runner, it just runs. It's not heavy, it's not awkward, it's not hard to control. It's just you move your throttle and it responds. So it's just treating me good, and that's the one that I would pick over the other two kits. And I'm glad I chose it for my small kit before I knew any of this. I did my own research. I wasn't into mud running kits and any of that. I just wanted a cheap motor. Did some research. I found these 3 brands. I started looking on YouTube, on social media, seeing what people were saying. This was 2 or 3 years ago, and probably close to 3 now. And Swamp Runner just had so many people that were happy with them that didn't have anything negative to say. So that's why I picked my small kit. Before I buy anything, I always research it. That's why I picked the Swamp Runner kit for the first small kit I had, and now I'm going to pick it for this medium kit too, because the others took a lot of time to try to get it dialed in, and I couldn't get it dialed in. The Swamp Runner was dialed in when I put it on my boat. It didn't take anything. So just with the ease of use, that's why I would pick it. For opening out of the box, it was professionally built. It had foam insert in there. It was meant for the pieces that were in there. The other two, they didn't really have that. Mud Skipper was just wrapped in paper and thrown in a huge box that was way too big for any of the pieces. Beaver Dam Mud Runners, they weren't bad, but it wasn't as like professional looking. It was just wrapped in paper and it was thrown in a small box. Everything fit good, nothing really jingled around in there. So the unboxing for that wasn't bad, but Mud Skipper definitely was a loser on that one. For assembly, across the board, I mean, it's a mud motor kit. They all get put together about the same. But if you know nothing about mud motors, then I would go with the Swamp Runner kit, because they were the only ones who had complete, up-to-date instructions. There were some that were out of date, but you were still able to put the kit together without having to guess. With Beaver Dam and Mud Skipper, you had to guess on what pieces went where, and all the pictures were outdated and they didn't work. You had to know what you were doing, and you had to guess where you wanted to put stuff. So just for a new person, if you think assembly is going to be tough, go with the Swamp Runner. For testing it, for water test, it depends on the boat. It really does. But in my instance, for what I'm running, the Alumacraft, I would go with the Swamp Runner because it didn't take any adjustment. I threw it on and it worked, and that end of story. The Mud Skipper, there's no adjusting. I would not recommend that kit to anybody. It is very cheap. It's $100 less than the other kits. Pay the extra $100 if you want cheap, and you want to go that way, then do it. But that's just not the route that I would go. This is all my personal preference. I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do. This is just my experience with it. Beaver Dam, they do have good parts. They're not bad. They are more expensive than Swamp Runner. I just couldn't get that kit to run right. I'm sure you could if it was the only other boat that I know of is Tracker, maybe All Weld or whatever the other boats are. I mean, there's Crestliner, there's a few. If your angle on your transom is leaning back a good bit, then I would go with the Swamp Runner. If it's standing straight up and down, then you should be good with either the Beaver Dam or the Swamp Runner kit. So SPS or CLP. I'm just not pleased with CKS with Mud Skipper. So if you want, I would either go with CLP or Swamp Runner. Swamp Runner, I have 2 of their kits and I've had 0 problems, and customer service is great. CLP with Beaver Dam Mud Runners, their kits are good too. A few things that I don't like the handle, that was a big problem for me. With the comparing CLP and SPS, Mud Skipper for me is just out of the question, so I'll just stick with CLP and SPS for right now. CLP was good. There's a lot of adjustment, but that can be a problem if you don't know how to adjust it right. You got to know what your tail weight should be. You need enough tail weight to keep the prop in the water, but you don't want too much tail weight to where it's a pain in the butt to push down on that handle to get the weight of that prop up out of the water. But if you have it too far forward and it's really floaty and really nice to handle, that prop is not going to stay in the water. It's going to float right out and shoot out when you get up to higher RPMs or higher mile per hour. So you just got to keep that in mind when you're playing with these kits. With Swamp Runner, there's 2 adjustment holes for your tail weight, and I didn't have to adjust it. It comes pre-assembled and it fit perfect. With Beaver Dam Mud Runners, it wasn't assembled, and they have 5 adjustment holes. You only need 2 or 3 of those adjustment holes. You should never ever have to use those last 2. If you do, then you have a very, very light motor as your engine, or a very light engine as your motor, however you want to put that. But with this Predator engine, you should probably have it up on that first or second that's closest to the base. You need that tail weight to keep the prop in the water, and as soon as you get going, it just becomes floatless. It floats. Very easy to control. With the CLP Beaver Dam Mud Runner kit, it was always hard to handle. I never had an easy time running that. If I was able to get a tracker, you want me to test it on a different boat, I'd be happy to, but I don't have the money to throw at another boat right now, or have a place to keep it. So to keep it short, I would stay away from CKS from Mud Skipper, and I'd go with a CLP or an SPS. Pick either or. They both answer the phone good. I feel like Swamp Runner has a little bit more knowledge on the product. Other than that, you should be happy with what you get. I would choose the Swamp Runner kit. They seem to have a lot more options and a variety of products for their kits, and they seem to always be updating their products and looking for better stuff. Swamp Runner, just talking to them on the phone, they're up there and they're ready to go. So you may be asking, what's next for the channel? One exciting thing that's going to be happening with this channel is that we are going to be putting a bottom coating on the bottom of this boat. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. You'll be seeing that in the upcoming videos. One of those slick sliding, push it on grass, very easy coat to put on. So if you're interested in that, then stay tuned. For mud motors, there may be something happening. Don't know if there is, but I have a good feeling about it. There will be more to come. So if you guys stay positive, keep hitting that like button and really watching the videos, give me some watch time, then some good things will happen. And the more subscribers that I get, the bigger audience that I have, the more, not power, but power that I have to reach out to other companies and say, hey, I like the idea of your product. Can I have it to show on the channel? And they are able to do that. So if I have more subscribers, more views, more watch time, then I'm able to reach out to those other companies and say, hey, I like the idea of your product, let's work something out. So if you guys want to see more big projects, more things happening, then let me know. Just subscribe, share the videos, share it with your friends, anybody that you think would benefit from these videos. And that's how it goes. I don't have a Patreon or any money given thing. I don't really believe in that. I just like making videos, and if I have a big enough audience to where I can get other products on the channel that you guys are interested in, then it's all for you. And of course I'll enjoy them, and I'll make videos enjoying them so you guys can see it, because you guys are the ones that got me there. So I hope you stay tuned and hope you enjoy the videos, and I'll see you on the next one.